Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a review on Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I actually won this book from Goodreads. I won an art copy, so I read this a little bit early, but I don't have the actual copy with me anymore because I've sent that off to a friend for her to read. In Landline we are following Georgie McCool, who is a television writer, and she works on this really big sitcom. It is right before Christmas and suddenly she finds out that her dream pilot might have the chance of ending up on television, but her and her writing partner Seth need to basically come up with more episodes to show the network, and so they decide that they are going to hunker down and pound out some episodes to show the network so that way they can hopefully get their show picked up, which has basically been their dream since college. Unfortunately, like I said, this is all taking place right before Christmas, and she was supposed to go to Omaha with her family, which includes her husband Nick and her 2 kids. So she is basically forced to tell her husband that she won't be going to Omaha, which causes some tension, and Georgie McCool basically starts reevaluating her marriage and her relationship. That night she goes to her mother's house and she calls Nick on the landline phone that's in her old bedroom, and it turns out that she isn't quite talking to the current Nick, she is talking to a Nick from the past. And so Georgie is sort of faced with this decision of she could potentially alter the way things have gone. So she's faced with this conundrum of should she mess with the past at all, and if she should, what outcome does she want to happen? Does she want to stay married to Nick, or does she want the relationship to work or not? I am a huge Rainbow Rowell fan. I have read every book that she has ever read. I've really adored them all. If you've only read Eleanor and Park or Fangirl, this one is a little bit different because it's dealing with adults who are slightly older, so this is considered adult contemporary. But her first book, Attachments, was also adult contemporary. Rainbow Rowell has this writing style that really makes you connect with the characters and really just feels so like comforting. You really engage with the story, or at least I really engage with the stories that she writes. I always feel like I could see a little bit of myself, or sometimes even a lot of myself, in the books that she writes and in the characters she creates. She's not afraid of creating unlikable, quote-unquote, female characters, so to speak. Georgie is not perfect in any way, shape, or form. Some people will probably find her to be even a little bit irritating, especially because a lot of the book is basically just Georgie contemplating her marriage and her relationship with her husband, and there are some flashbacks so you see how the relationship started and how they sort of fell for each other and started dating and things like that. So you see the development of their relationship over time, but a lot of it is just Georgie in her head contemplating things, and so I could easily see Georgie getting on people's nerves, but because I could very much understand where Georgie was coming from, I didn't really mind it so much. This book does feel different from her other books because there is this element of the magical telephone that is brought into the story. I won't say much more than that because I don't want to spoil anything or give too much details about the way the story breaks down, but this element does make this book different from a lot of her other books. If you've never read a Rainbow Rowell book before, I wouldn't recommend Landline to be your first because this element makes it feel a little bit different than her other books. But if you've read Rainbow Rowell before, this book will feel very familiar while also feeling different. Again, the writing style all feels very similar to her previous books, and I think that's one of her strengths, is her writing style and just the way that she intertwines these conflicts while also keeping things light. Light in the sense that you never feel overburdened by the tough topics that Rainbow Rowell always weaves into her books. You know, Eleanor and Park had to deal with just abuse, and Fangirl had hints of mental health issues that they were talking about, and so in this one it deals more with divorce and marriage and relationships and things like that. So there are always these sort of heavy topics that are wrapped around in Rainbow Rowell's work, but the way that she writes them and even just the characters that she creates, she's able to create these light moments. I think another really great thing about this book is just all of the side characters. You see Georgie's mother and sister, who are really great characters. You see her writing partners, who are really great. All of these characters are super interesting, and I would totally just read books on them alone. That's how well Rainbow sort of builds on these characters, and you know, there isn't a lot of scenes with some of these characters, but you still get a lot of information, or you are able to infer a lot about these characters, which really says a lot about Rainbow Rowell's writing. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is my favorite Rainbow Rowell book personally. I can see some people having problems with the plot. There are certain things about the plot that I wasn't necessarily crazy about, but mainly going into this book, what you need to know is it's about relationships, and it's about this character Georgie just sort of figuring out what love is and what marriage is supposed to be about and things like that. And I think those questions that are raised and the ideas and topics that are discussed are really, really interesting and take a really interesting turn. So in the end, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I love it. I love Rainbow Rowell's writing, and I feel like I'm going to love basically everything that she puts out. It always has just a lot of wit and charm. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Landline by Rainbow Rowell. If you've read this book, feel free to leave your comments down below letting me know what you thought of it, or if you have any questions about the book, feel free to leave those down in the comment section as well. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching.